What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Little thing I want to get off my chest before we start your reviews or your news. You ever had a family member, or perhaps your girlfriend or your spouse, they mention, they want to go out to eat or something like that. And then, when they're buying, I personally, I say, hey, whatever you want to go, whatever you're in the mood for, let's go eat that, because it's a free meal. You're not paying for it, so why not let them decide? But then they get irritated because you won't pick something, so you find yourself in the situation where if you do pick something, then they're upset because they don't want to eat that, and then you're like, well, why'd you ask me to choose something? And then you make another suggestion and they don't like that either, so it's like, what the hell, why'd you ask, and then when I do choose something, you don't want it. You ever found yourself in that situation? It really drives me nuts when I'm in that situation. If you're not buying, what does it matter? Let them decide, let them choose. It just irritates me, when I'm with somebody and they do that to me. It's annoying. But anyways, I just figured I wanted to see if any of you have been in similar situations like that, had similar problems around like that. I want to make sure it's not just me. Okay, the big thing in the news today is the whole, RBG, Ruth, the Supreme Court Justice, whatever, she died. And now the far left are trying to come up with reasons to wait till after the election to try to choose someone to replace her. It's just gotten ridiculous. They don't want to go with Trump's nominee, but that's the right of the president to choose someone to replace him. So they can get over it and kiss our ass, kiss his ass, get over it. That's the way it is. That's the way it works. Deal with it. Just a bunch of nonsense. Just let him pick someone, let the Senate approve him, and then get him in there and get it done. It needs to be taken care of now, not later. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is the whole WandaVision trailer dropped. I could have sworn I saw something similar a while back, but I don't know, since Disney and Marvel has pretty much run the whole Marvel universe thing, it's too much political agenda crap in their movies, too much woke nonsense, and it needs to stop. It's getting to where the fans don't even want to watch the movies anymore because they put too much crap in there. I'm not sure if this is going to be very good or not. We'll see. The MadelorianS2 Season 2 trailer dropped as well. It actually looks pretty good. I just hope Disney stays out of it and it doesn't become a political tool like most of their crap. We'll see. Let's hope not. I am a little irritated with the whole, the 1% of the alphabet community are just loony as hell, attacking Gina. They need to find something else to do with their damn time instead of screaming and whining like little bitches. Anyways, hopefully Mandalorian's going to be good. Season 2, we'll see. Um, Another thing I saw was, the Dune trailer dropped not too long ago. The original Dune was alright. It's a little theatrical for me. And it kind of drug out in several places where it was just too long and too boring in certain spots. But it was an alright sci-fi movie. It wasn't bad, but it was decent. We'll see if this new one holds up to the original. I don't know. We'll see. The next one, I saw the whole thing with the Emmys. I'm surprised anybody watches this shit anymore. I don't. I know that, I saw a lot of articles where they just posted crap about, they were giving Emmys to all these woke, trash, garbage shows, which is not surprising, at all. Like the whole Watchmen thing and crap like that. Just joke shows. They're retarded. These woke shows are getting all the awards. Like, really? They don't deserve them. They're dumb. They're stupid shows. And the fans have called them out on it many times. Anyways, nobody cares about the Emmys anymore. It's just a political agenda for celebrities to talk shit. Like Selena Gomez going on there and, claiming Facebook and Instagram and Twitter need to, stop hate speech, and all hate speech is coming from the alt-right and Trump supporters and blah blah blah. It's just full of shit. Nobody cares about these celebrities' fucking agendas, or you're an idiot if you listen to most of these celebrities tell you what to do. Like Mark Ruffalo, oh my gosh, that idiot. I didn't care for his Hulk. I thought he sucked as Bruce Banner. But, this guy, he has the nerve to go on the Emmys and tell everybody what to do, he's a rich guy, so you got to do what the rich tell you what to do. Yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb. You're an idiot if you follow people like that. You're just dumb. Alright, moving on. I did see the trailer for Croods2. It dropped as well. And it looks fairly decent. We'll see. Hopefully they don't put any political agenda crap in it. But this is Hollywood, so we'll see. I think, all that political agenda crap needs to stay out of kids' programming, period. I'm not a big fan of cartoons, but I did love the first movie. I did watch it. It was pretty decent. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And your dating tip this week. Let's move on to it. Your dating tip this week. Just be careful about the people you meet online. There are some people who are just loony as jaybirds. Now I did this years before when I first started online dating. Before this last relationship, 7-year relationship, I did some online dating. The only time I actually met anyone who was really like psycho, I did meet this chick one time who, we were sitting down talking for like an hour, and then it's like a switch flipped on in her head, and she just went totally nuts and psycho on me, telling me that, started screaming that I'm not the one she's been talking to for like 2 weeks on the phone, and we shared pictures of each other, what each other looked like, and everything was fine when she showed up. We talked for an hour, and then she just lost it. It was like She was a totally, completely different person. She really had some mental issues. The police showed up. They were laughing at me because they knew who I was. You know, I knew most of the police people, you know, policemen. But, you know, they were laughing because when I told them it was an online date, you know, they said, well, you got to be careful who you pick, you know. But, you know, she had jumped up on the couch, and I ran to the other side of the room and opened the door and told her to get the hell out of my house. And she just wouldn't move until the cops showed up and escorted her out. It was ridiculous and embarrassing because the cops were all giving me hell about it. Anyways, that's about as close as I came to, you know, someone who has real mental issues. I don't know what was wrong with that woman, but something was definitely not right in the head. You just, like I said, you gotta be careful. That was, you know, I met several women, but that was one that really freaked me out. You know, she could have had a gun in her purse and just went completely nutso and tried to shoot me or something. I don't know, but you really got to be careful. Alright, movie holics, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. These are two cult classics. We are on Fantasy Week. Now, I chose two cult classics. Both are from 1981. Some of you might remember these movies, some of you might not. These are fairly older movies. Fantasy movies were just starting to become popular. Like high fantasy, sorcery, magic, that kind of stuff. And throughout most of the 80s, you'd see a lot of generic B-rated sword sorcery movies. The first one we're going to talk about is called Dragonslayer. It was actually a Walt Disney film alongside Paramount. It starred Peter McNichol and Caitlin Clark. It made roughly about 14 million worldwide at the box office, which wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. You know, it did okay. The movie's basically about this apprentice who sees his master get killed by this dickhead of a knight at the beginning of the movie. Some people came to him from this certain village in the kingdom, asking his master to kill a dragon because he's the last of the sorcerers, and this is supposed to be the last of the dragons or whatever. But as soon as he gets killed, the apprentice, he finds this magic amulet that gives him some magical abilities, and he tells him he would take on the task. Now, the leader of this group is actually a woman, but she's been pretending to be a boy because of the kingdom's lottery. The king made a deal with the dragon, you know, sacrifice a virgin twice a year, and the dragon won't go burning up villages and killing people. So he created a lottery to do this. And she's been pretending to be a boy so she didn't have to be in the lottery. The apprentice, when he first shows up, he kind of buries the dragon's lair entrance with like a rock slide. So they all think it's over. So she comes out to her village, reveals herself as actually being a girl. But come to find out, the dragon did not stay buried. The king tries to imprison the boy or the apprentice. The knight tries to kill him, doesn't work. The dickhead knight. He tries to kill him, but it doesn't work. The king goes and releases him because his daughter, the princess, who he had been keeping out of the lottery, went and put herself in the lottery and got chosen. She wanted it to be fair, that she should be she's part of the kingdom too, so there's no reason why she shouldn't be in the lottery. So she basically sacrifices herself. The king releases the apprentice and tells him to go save her. The blacksmith, which is the girl he's falling in love with, it's her father, the one who pretended to be a boy. He builds him a dragon lance, which he goes to fight the dragon. He kills some younglings that killed the princess after she sacrificed herself. He doesn't quite kill the dragon though. It doesn't work like he thought it would. He comes to find out, he was supposed to throw his master's ashes into this lake of fire in the dragon's lair, which brings the master back. And then the master basically tells him to smash the amulet when the time is right, and he goes to fight the dragon. And the dragon grabs him, and then the apprentice smashes the amulet, which blows up the sorcerer and the dragon, and the carcass falls to the earth. And then you get this funny thing at the end where the king comes up and he sticks the sword into the carcass of the dragon and proclaims himself the Dragonslayer. I mean, go figure. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. You see the apprentice and the girl that was pretending to be a boy, which he fell in love with, right off into the sunset. Of course, after he wished that they had a horse. This just magically shows up out of nowhere. But anyways, that's the end of the movie. It was okay story. It wasn't bad at all. I actually give this movie 2 thumbs up. You should definitely check it out if you like sword and sorcery stuff. Graphic wise, this is the early 80s, so it wasn't like superb, but it was actually fairly decent for back then. You had a little puppeteering, but not too much. It was actually pretty good the way they did it. They didn't quite show completely all of the dragon the whole time. They left that towards the end, so it actually wasn't done bad. I definitely give that a solid 3 for back then. The acting was great. You had some really good actors in this. I give them a solid 4 for their acting. That was actually pretty good. As far as the story was really good. It moved along at a pretty decent pace. It wasn't really slow in any part. Maybe a couple of scenes where, they're getting a love interest thing going. But other than that, it actually moved along fairly well. It's pretty good. I actually really like the story. So I give it a solid 4. Overall, the movie, definitely a solid 4. Really great movie. Like 2 thumbs up. Definitely check it out if you get the chance. The next one we're going to talk about is called Excalibur, and it was done in 1981 as well. It starred Nigel Terry and Cherry Lagai. It made about 34 million worldwide, so that really was fairly good. It was fairly decent back then. It wasn't too bad. It also had like Liam Neeson and Patrick Stewart in it, you know, before they became really famous. Basically, this is a retelling of King Arthur, is basically what it is. However, it does like this fast forward, you know, it'll skip big sections of the story and tell a little bit, and then it'll fast forward again to the future and skip a few more sections of the story of all what went on in between. It mainly focused on how Arthur got the sword and the love between Guinevere and Lancelot and that whole thing. And then the end, you know, it showed, you know, the fight between Mordred and his father Arthur. What really got to me about this movie was I don't understand why, like all the armor and the swords, they all had to have this like emerald green light put on them. It was really weird and kind of strange, and yeah, I really didn't get why Merlin had to have like this metal helmet thing on his head. It was kind of strange looking. Merlin in this is kind of a dick too. I mean, he just, yeah, whatever, you know, kind of thing, walks off half the time. You know, you had the, if you know the basic story, you know, Arthur pulls a sword out of the stone. But Arthur is the creation of Uther, his father, and this duke's wife that he stole, and had Merlin use magic to make him look like the duke so he could lay with his wife. The duke dies, and then Uther takes her as his wife, but Merlin takes Arthur and gives him to somebody else to raise. He pulls out the sword to give to his older brother, or the man he thought was his older brother but was not. It was a little bit messed up, but and then later, you know, once Guinevere and you know, Lancelot have their little fling, Morgana, sorry, she shows up and makes herself with magic look like Guinevere to sleep with Arthur, his own half-sister. Creates a son, Mordred, who hates him. Morgana raises him to hate his father. Anyways, and then they have to fight at the end. After, of course, they go on he sends his knights on this big quest. After Guinevere and Lancelot, he finds them together. He gets rid of his sword, and of course the whole movie is about, you know, you can't have the land has to have a king, and the king has to have a sword. Yada yada yada. But basically, like I said, it's a retelling of Arthur, the story of Arthur, King Arthur. It was a good movie. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the greatest. There were just certain parts in it that just made no sense. But like, why did the knights had to have all this really super shiny armor, which, you know, That's not the way it was back then, but whatever, you know. All the knights had like this super metallic shiny armor, which was just kind of retarded. And then Mordred had to have this golden armor with this weird mask that looked like it was from the Roman Empire or some shit. I don't know. It was a little strange. Some of it was strange. But otherwise, it was alright for what it was. It doesn't tell the whole story. It leaves sections out. Like I said, it's kind of like a fast forward through time of King Arthur's tale. CGI, or not CGI, but special effects. There was not really a whole lot of special effects in it. I mean, it was alright for what it was. I give it a 3 for, you know, for what they did, you know, with some of the magic elements. It was alright. It was decent enough to make the movie go along. The acting was alright. Wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest either, but it was okay. I give it a 3. It was alright. And then the overall story, I don't know. I'll give it a 3 just because, you know, it was alright. It wasn't bad. It could have been done way better. Way better. That whole skipping through time, keep going forward and skipping in a bunch of crap in between, it just, I don't know. It kind of messed up the story, kind of, to me anyway. Overall, I give it a 3. It was an alright movie. It was okay. 2 thumbs up. Wasn't bad. Go ahead, check it out if you want to see a tale of King Arthur. But there's far better movies, as far as I'm concerned, that tells the tale of King Arthur. That's all I have for you this week. If you have any suggestions of some gems, some older movies I might have missed, please leave them down in the comments down below, your suggestions, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. If you have any thoughts about what I spoke on earlier in the video, please leave them down in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Other than that, that's all I have for you this week. I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.